Hi, it's Kassy. Today we're going to make a journal for myself for my word for next year. And we're going to do it with some great Sizzix products here. So I'm using for my base journal the Eileen Hall scoreboard die, and this one is called Card Case. Okay, so I'm using parts of it, and I'll show you more about that as we go. I've got two texture rolls in Primrose and Mint Julep, and I'll be using those on the inside of the journal to decorate. I cut out the base of this already with the mixed media board from Sizzix, okay? And I used 2 sheets of the white, all right? So that's what we have here so far is, it's in a bunch of pieces, but I'll walk through it and show you. And so this is the Mint Julep. This is going to be for the card case part, and I'll show you when we go. Here's the pink, that primrose color. This is for the card case. So I'm just going to kind of separate everything. I've got a bunch of little buttons that cut out here. So this is the board, the mixed media board that that was cut out, and part of it, some of the pieces just like kind of came apart. So I have it in order of the way that it needs to go. And if I just tell you really quick, let's see if I can do this. So when you cut out one pass of that card case die, you're going to get this, okay, which has the front, one folded piece, and then the back, and then the spine. And you have to cut this out twice to make the journal, which I've done here. Okay, this side is just came apart a little bit more, but that's okay. I'm going to show you how to put it together. And then also, if you're making the card case as it's designed to be made, you would cut 2 of these pockets, but I just cut 1 because I'm going to use it a little bit differently for this project. Okay, so that's what you need to do. So you basically run that die through twice with whatever material you're going to make your journal out of. Okay, so that's where we're starting from. So the first thing I want to do to kind of put this all together and have it be stable is I'm going to use the I'm going to use the texture roll in the Primrose and Mint Julep here to put this together and to help it be secure, okay? And so to do that, I am going to use the Sizzix Quick Drying Express Glue. Okay, and I just have it laid out the way it needs to be, so I'm going to move these down a little bit. I'm starting with this first piece. This is going to cover everything except for the spine. I'm going to leave the spine open for just a minute, and I'll explain that in a second, but I really just want to get this part together. And so I'm just lining it up, making sure it's all nice and even. And then I'm going to put the glue. This is now the inside of my journal, okay? So I'm just putting a little bit of Express glue everywhere in here, right up to just before the spine, okay? So I'm not putting anything on the spine. And now I'm going to take my texture roll here and just line it up. And I like to squish it around a little bit, make sure the glue gets everywhere. It should line up exactly right because it is cut from the exact same die. So that should all be perfect. And I'm just going to keep going here. And so it's all lined up nicely. So I'm just pressing and holding it down for just a moment until the glue sort of catches it and holds it in place. And this color is so beautiful. And the beauty of this texture roll too is, like, you could stamp on this, or you know, we've die cut out of it. Obviously you could use mixed media paste or paint or anything really on this surface. And now I've just got a nice pink surface to work with. So I'm just making sure we fold nicely, everything's lined up, it looks great, it's stuck down well. So remember, I did not glue down this spine. The reason is I've got the spine again over here, and I think I want to use it because Two reasons. One, it's going to help, it's going to connect the front and the back, obviously, together. And also it's going to make the spine a bit more sturdy, okay? It does make it thicker, so just be aware of that, but it's definitely going to make it more sturdy. So I'm going to connect the back mixed media board to the front first, and then we'll do the same thing with the pink there. So I'm just going to put some more express glue. I really love this express glue when building construction projects like this and making like journals or anything 3D or anything that has to really hold up well over time, because it dries quick and it is super strong. So that's just my preference. Okay, so that's nice and stuck down. I'm going to just line the rest of this up. Okay, so I have, let me make sure this is the right way. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to scoot this down a little bit so that this part can be flat. It's just going to help me make sure everything is lined up just a little bit easier. Okay, and then this is my end piece. Oh no, sorry, this goes in the middle. I was like, wait, that's not right. Here we go. Okay, so the order of things should be the spine, the wider back rectangle, a thinner rectangle for the other spine, and then the wider rectangle again for the front. All right, so that's the order it goes in case yours comes apart like mine did and you have to put it back together here. Okay, this is looking good. So now I'm going to work from the other side. And I'm going to just do the same thing. Put the glue down. I'm trying to go kind of near the edge just to make sure that that the paper, this textured paper, goes all the way to the edge there. Okay, so now this is mostly stuck together. Let's start on this edge piece. Again, just taking my time to line it up. I can squish it around a little bit, move the glue around, make sure it's nice and lined up, and it should be perfectly in line. Oops, it just came apart. No big deal. Okay, here we go. Stick it down and then stick down this last piece. That should stick down nicely. And then I will adhere that spine. There we go. Looks pretty good. And I just like to hold it for a minute just to give that glue a chance to really adhere. All right, and now I'm going to stick down this spine, the pink. There we go. That is going to be great. Okay, so I flipped this over and I need to cover the outside as well. Okay, so I've just got strips of paper here, and these are just pattern papers I've had in my stash for a long time. And my word for the year is going to be connect, and I thought these birds on this wire was really cool, sort of representation of that word in a way. And it's grungy and it's just fun for me. So I cut it down to the right height. And I've got a couple strips, and so I'm just going to cover the outside cover with this paper. So to do that, I'm going to use my express glue again, and I'm just going to start with the front cover and this first spine, and I'm going to stick it down and place it and make sure it's right where I want it, and then I'll continue gluing. Okay, so I want to make sure it's lined up with the edge and the top and the bottom. And it's stuck down really well, and it's not like hanging over anywhere. Okay, so while this is drying though, I need to fold this because I want to make sure I can fold it, right? When it's all dried and stuck together properly. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to make, I'm going to burnish a little bit here with my bone folder, make sure we have a good crease. Okay, so now we can fold that over. Okay, so now I'm going to let that dry. And then I'm going to make use the bone folder to make the crease in the next spot before I glue it down. And just keep going here. While that, I'm letting this dry for just a moment. So I'm finding it underneath and just using my bone folder to follow it along as best I can. Because I just want one continuous piece of paper since these pieces kind of came apart on me a little bit. Okay, this is the bigger spine and I don't want to crease in every of those areas. So I'm going to leave this be, and now I'm going to come back and add more glue because I'm ready for that step. So again, going almost to the edge, filling in the middle so it's nice and secure, and then also gluing the spine area, the bigger spine. And now, honestly, I just have to just press nicely and not too firmly and just let it do its thing. And then while it's drying, I am going to fold it a little bit so I make sure I can fold it still. And it's going to work nicely. All right, looks good, looks so good. Okay, so that's the front outside cover, okay? Very cool, I love this. Okay, and it fits nicely right on the page. So now I've got a little bit extra here, and I want to make sure that I'm putting the rest of this together correctly. So I want the pink on the inside. I am going to work from the inside for a minute just to make sure that that all lines up. And I'm going to put the glue now on the back of this piece of just that pattern paper so I can start adhering this. I don't think it matters which way it goes. Okay, and so again, I'm going to make sure I can fold and that it all lines up correctly. And it's not overlapping anywhere. Perfect. Okay, make sure that's close enough. There we go. I'm just going to hold this in place now for a second. And again, I just keep folding and creasing, making sure that that's all going to work. Okay, so now I'm going to flip this back over, okay, while that's all drying, and I'm going to do the rest of this. So now I want that middle spine on the back of this section and then the very last piece. So these two can just line up right next to each other like they did before. And then I've got my second piece of paper here, and so I'm going to leave it too long. That's okay. I'm going to line this up. I don't mind that seam either. It's just it's just interesting and different. And so now I'm going to put adhesive on the rest of the white mixed media board. So this is just a way to deal with the die if for some reason yours kind of comes apart like mine did. It's supposed to just crease it, but sometimes there's a little too much pressure on the machine or whatever, and it can just happen. So no biggie, we will deal with it. So I'm just making sure this paper is really, really butted up right against the other paper, so it just fits really nicely. And then I'm going to give this a minute to let the glue sort of soak into the paper a little bit before I bend it and do all of that. Making sure we're still good everywhere else. We are. Looks so good. I'm very excited. It's very very different too because it's like bright and pink on the inside and distressy on the outside, and that's kind of my style. So I'm really excited to see how this turns out. So then I do want to also burnish, and burnishing and doing this with the bone folder just kind of breaks up the fibers of the paper just a little bit. Okay, let's see. Here we go. So that you can get a nice good fold. Okay, so there we go. That's good. Okay, and then I'm going to fold these in. Okay, so now I'm going to cut this end off. I'm just going to use scissors so it's a nice straight line, really easy to cut. You could always use your your cutting tool, whatever works for you. I'm going to put a little bit more glue on the edge here, make sure it's adhered right to the edge of that paper. Okay, looks really good. Okay, so now I'm going to let this dry for a minute, but it's all looking really good. Okay, so now I'm going to work on the inside again, and I've got my my little pocket holder for this card case. Okay, so this piece was cut out of the mixed media board, and I've folded it and creased it everywhere. All right, and then I also have the piece cut out of the mint julep textured paper. Okay, and so I'm just going to stick this all together like I have the rest of it with my express glue, and then we will put it into our card case. Alright, sitting that right over on top, and again it should fit exactly because it is cut from the exact same die. Very pretty. It's going to look great with that pink. I like lots of color, and you know, so I decided to do different colors, but you could do pattern paper on here. You could just leave it white and either stamp on it or leave it white plain, or you know, use a different kind of paper, the same paper. Like, you really can just do anything you want and it's going to be great. But I would give this a minute to dry before I fold it up and adhere it into my card base, or my card case, excuse me. So this is what the back looks like when it's got all of that paper on it. I think that looks so cool. Really fun and graphic, and kind of suits my style. Okay, here we go. So I actually think I don't really need this back piece to have the colored paper on it, and I think it might stick better without it. So I'm going to take off this last little tab on both sides. I'll show you what that will look like in a second. I just decided it's not really necessary. It would be tucked under anyway, so you'll see on the two sides you have one white tab at the end, and then even on the bottom here, it might already be stuck down there. Yeah, it's kind of already stuck down, but you don't really need that one either. So, okay, so now I'm ready to stick this on. So when I flip it over, I've got the tabs all facing the inside here, and I'm going to put my express glue. Now you could use any kind of glue here. You could use like red liner tape or whatever, just something really strong, because especially if you're going to use this book, then, you know, in this little pocket, then you want it to be nice and sturdy. So just whatever glue or adhesive works best for you. And then I'm going to stick this in here, and I'm actually going to put this sideways and get my bone folder or scissors or whatever, and just make sure, whoops, I moved it, hold on here. Just make sure everything is stuck down really well. And then I can still close my book. There we go. Okay. That's good. Just giving it a good burnish along the tabs on the inside, because it's hard to get your finger in there, you know. So now I'm just going to hold it in place for a minute. Okay, so I am just using a small booklet here for now, and I'll probably add several of these throughout the year, but it's just got some fun lined paper in it, and I just want to show you how you can attach this in here to start using your book if you want to use it in a journal way. And the reason I'm doing a pocket in the front and pages in the back part of it is because I want to use this as a little mini journal, or even just for jotting down ideas or you know, thoughts I have about my word for the year. year. I can put little ephemera pieces in here and things like that to collect, and then I can write on this side, and it's just a fun way to use this journal in an interactive way. So what I want to do is attach this very small signature into here, and like I said, as I go, I can just keep adding more paper and more signatures or whatever. I'm going to use some very bright fluorescent pink embroidery thread, or floss I guess it's called, and I'm just going to tie this in. So this spine is pretty thick because it's 2 layers of mixed media board, and it's just a really small journal, so I'm not really concerned about like sewing it in and making sure it's super secure, because again, it's just a fun little journal. So, but you could do that, you could sew it into the spine, but again, that is kind of thick. So I am just going to to wrap it around and tie it on the outside. I also really like having these tails on the outside. I can add little gems to them, or little beads or things like that. And then by the end of the year too, I'll have a bunch of them, because I will have several signatures in here. So you can see on the spine here, maybe I can, there we go, I can just prop it up like this. And it doesn't matter where you tie it. I'm just going to tie a knot. And I kind of like to do it near the top, especially for the first one. But again, you do what works for you. It doesn't really matter where you tie it. And the reason this is working for this signature is because it's just lined paper. It's you know, nice and easy. I'm holding this down with my thumb, or excuse me, I'm holding this down with my finger, and I'm just pulling it tight till it's tight enough to hold that in place, and then you can move it even. And then I'm going to just make one more knot, I think, and just let it be kind of long. I'll cut some of the excess off. Let's just look inside and see how we're doing. So here is our paper pad. Oops, I bent it a little bit. That's okay. And so there it is. So it'll just sit in here. And this is actually going to add some whimsy and fun into my journal as well. And so I'm actually excited about it. It's going to be so cute, and just a really fun, nice way to further, you know, decorate my book here. I imagine over the year, I'm going to be using this quite a bit, and I want it to be really nice and sturdy. So I'm just using some washi tape to make sure that these fold lines are going to stay nice and secure for me. So yep, I'm using just a black and white polka dot. I just think it's fun, and is going to help me keep everything together nicely. So I'm just making sure it's stuck down there really well, and let's just do it to this one as well. Washi sometimes isn't super sticky either, so if you're trying this and using some washi just to, you know, decorate or help secure a seam a little bit as well, you might want to consider putting some express glue under the washi, or even over it, just to make sure it's going to stay in place. So that's just a tip from me. But let's see, I'm going to try this. I'm just bending nice and slow and making sure that it's all stuck together. Yeah, I think that looks good. Okay, so there we go. So here is my the inside. Okay, and again, I will put some journaling here, and I will add more. I could add like 5 or 6 signatures in here, and they'll just keep stacking on top of each other, as long as it's this thin, like just, you know, notebook paper. If you're using a thicker paper, you might not be able to get as much in there, but still, I think it'd be really cute and fun to use. And then on the cover, I just want to decorate a little bit. So really quick, we're going to use some little foam sticker letters. Okay, I have these big plastic sticky numbers here, and I kind of want these on the front for 2024, and then I'm going to put the word connect over the top of it. So I need to just sort of play with the placement and see how these are going to fit together, and also get the connect onto another strip of paper. Okay, so to decide how this is all going to end up, I've got a piece of matte Duralar here, which is like a frosted kind of mylar paper, plastic kind of paper, and I'm going to put the word connect on here. And then see kind of how big it is and how it fits onto my cover so I can lay it all out. Okay, so now I'm ready to stick everything down. So I've got this 2 here. It is sticky, but I'm definitely going to be using my quick dry because that is going to really make sure it never goes anywhere. So just want to be sure that whatever you're sticking, especially to your cover, and if it's a book you're going to use a lot, you just want to make sure that it's properly secure. And then I'm going to stick this connect down right on top of it. That looks so good. And then I'm going to notice where my glue hits. Whoa! Where my glue hits on the numbers is like under the C and in this first part here. And so I'm going to put glue here. So it's kind of, I'm just actually going to put it right on the number. And I saw that it's kind of in this bottom half of the 2 and this top part of the 4. And really it's just the number, or it's just the word that sits on top. So once this really is dry, it's not going to go anywhere, and this is going to be secure enough. And you can see the glue right now through this material, but once it dries, it will dry clear and you won't be able to see it at all. Okay, I'm just going to let it sit. If I press too much, it's like sliding around and stuff, so I don't want that. Okay, here we go. So I mainly use this die here and a few other Sizzix supplies to make this super cute card case. But really it's like a card case. It's more of a journal for me, a little mini journal for my 2024 word, which is connect. So I open it up here, super cute, and it's got the pocket for for ephemera and little bits that I want to include in here or just have to put in this journal space. And then I've just got some notebook paper for now, and so I can write notes. I can even put stickers and ephemera on here and decorate. I can add pattern paper, whatever I want in here as the year goes on, but I think this is just a really nice way to be able to journal and keep little 3D pieces or ephemera bits in here all together. So I love the way this turned out. I love the cover. It's so just very much my style, very graphic, got some interesting pattern on it. So here is my little card case journal. I hope that you found some inspiration with this project today and enjoyed this. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. Also, if you want to learn more about Sizzix products, please visit Sizzix.com. Thanks so much. Have a good day.